Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, specific location, undisclosed rather, for reasons of security and therefore insecurity. Shout out to my buddy John B. Wells on that one. My name's Brian Engelman. This is Blake Walley, and today is Thursday, December the 19th, 2024. And this is the Agree to Disagree show here on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. On today's episode, we're going to discuss the continuing resolution and if it deserved to be destroyed. Should Congress only get raises if the budget is balanced? Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree that Fani Willis should be disqualified from prosecuting Trump? Her name is Fani, not Fanny. It's Fani. It's Kamala, not Camilla or Camilla or Kamala. Who cares? When you're inventing names out of nowhere that nobody's ever heard before, we're allowed to pronounce them however we want. Thank you very much. But should she be disqualified from prosecuting Trump? Agree or disagree? Also, Judge Merchan, should he be subpoenaed for his corruption? Also, agree or disagree that the Biden staff should be charged with crimes for hiding his mental decline? Also, Kamala Harris, back to her again. Does she deserve $20 million? It's called money laundering.
Would you?
It's worth $20 million to write a tell-all book.
Brian just has to interject his opinions in there. Careful. All right.
Some of them I can't hold it back, buddy. I'm trying. And finally, has the flat Earth debate been finally settled after the Antarctic excursion? That would make a good band name, by the way. Antarctic excursion. They'd call them Ant-X. Anyway, we'll be right back on the Agree to Disagree show, talking about all those stories and more. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you type your comments into the show, and we will try to read them into the program, because it's a give and take. It's a conversation. Blake and I have been bartenders. Step up, sit at the bar. Let's have an ongoing conversation. You're not here to just get talked to. We're here to listen and engage with your ideas as well. So join us on the Agree to Disagree show. Yeah, that intro for the Agree to Disagree show is interesting. I caught something where they were saying you can write Joe Biggs in prison and send him a letter. I don't know if he's allowed to get those or not, but there's something InfoWars was doing to send him a letter. So if you're so inclined, just do a quick search on how to send Joe Biggs a letter. There's a whole group that does that. I believe for all of the J6 political prisoners. So there's that. Also watching John McAfee, rest in peace, kind of brings back all of the feels. That guy was very generous with his time, and he was an interesting man. And I wanted to, before we start today's show, just kind of give a shout out. Number one to Kenneth. What's up, Kenneth? He'll have a gin and truth. Thank you very much. Belly on up to the bar. He'll have a gin and truth. Right. Gin and tonic? Do those mix? Bob Berg, what's going on? RT on. Thanks for that update, Blake. What's RT? Russia Today or Retweet? Or Rocking Teletubbies? What is RT?
Probably retweet. I'm not 100%. But it's good to have Bob here. Hello.
Yes, welcome. Please leave your comments as we unpack today's program. Blake, I was discussing, John McAfee and such, but we lost Sean David Morton. He had been courageously battling I know Norm Macdonald has a series of jokes about courageously battling cancer, and it turns out Norm Macdonald was courageously battling cancer, but he didn't want to talk about it. Yeah, Sean David Morton had a very he had a battle, and he fought, and his soul has been released to the after realm. And I know you had a chance to interview him at Conscious Life Expo. I mean, geez, the
I hung out with him too at Hermosa Beach. We played Cards Against Humanity.
Now, what was that about? Tell me that story.
I was just on my little tour with some mutual friends. Just went down there one day. I don't know how. I try to remember how it all came about, but yeah, it was kind of like we were in the area, so we looked him up and stopped over. And I think we spent the night over there. Yeah, it was an interesting day. He's quite a character, and he had all these like he was like breeding cats. He had like these Norwegian forest cats, and he had like a whole bunch of them. So it was a lot of work, but they were cool. They were actually like one of the rare like hypoallergenic cats that you can get. Most people are allergic to cats. They think it's only like the hairless ones that don't trigger people with their allergies. But yeah, they're these forest cats, and they're smart. They're pretty cool. Anyway, it was an interesting time. But he was a good man, super smart, full of interesting info, and he will be missed.
He will be.
Went through some terrible years in prison and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah. Right. That's a whole other angle. And, trying to figure out if he developed the conditions that he developed while he was in there, or could he have been poisoned, or did he just develop something? There's a lot of angles to approach. But for now, I mean, I had one memorable moment at the Conscious Life Expo in particular. My understanding was that the audio was supposed to be picking up a little bit better. It was a directional microphone, and it was supposed to be handling a loud room. I was told it would be fine, but the audio came out really bad. We posted it anyway, but I think there's new audio. I remember going to a NAMM convention, and Sony had a really nice background noise cancellation program, a software program where you could upload, corrupted audio. Blake, like, remember when we were at the RFK Jr. event down in Nashville? And we tried to do a couple of interviews, but the background noise was so loud, like the microphone, it didn't come out good enough. We had a really interesting sit down. We ordered pizza and drinks, and it was Jordan Maxwell, rest in peace, with Sean David Morton, rest in peace, just sitting around chopping it up for a couple of hours. So I would love to actually grab that audio and fix it. Maybe Grok could help me improve the audio there. Who knows what you can put into AI and what you can get out these days, but people come, people go, and it is the holiday season. And I was just listening to Alice in Chains Unplugged, one of my favorite albums of all time. Just kind of thinking the two people, they were doing a reaction to it. We do music reactions as well, but they were reacting to it and just said, man, I wish somebody could have saved Lane Staley. And I had an unrelated phone call yesterday from somebody that saw a social media post from somebody and said, yeah, they're missing such and such. And, I just want to reach out, maybe make a donation. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. And, it's a tough time of year. A lot of people, we're trying to celebrate Christmas. And even if you're not Christian or don't celebrate Christmas, it's still a festive time of year. There's no escaping that, thank God. But a lot of people are going through loss, and, shout out to Sean David Morton's family and anybody out there missing someone, and, hang in there. It doesn't feel like it's worth doing, but I assure you, it could be. No promises, but it might be better than succumbing to your sadness and frustrations and lack of hope. There's always next year. That's what we say in sports. There's always next year. So there's always next year, just a week away at Christmas time, to starting fresh in 2025. Can't believe it's happening, Blake. I can't believe we're in 2025. Is that because of CERN? Is that because time is speeding up?
Just a lot going on. If we were all just simple farmers in the 1800s, it would probably take forever, but I don't know.
Are you also in favor of getting rid of daylight standard time? I know that's been a hot topic lately. Did you have a thought on that? I don't recall if you had a strong stance.
Not a strong stance. it was, weird because I guess I've lived in a few different time zones, and it was unusual because I lived in Arizona and there was no daylight savings, so it really threw me off because sometimes it's Pacific, sometimes it's Mountain. Just it's 6 months out of the year, it's distracting. So it'd probably be better, but what do I know? I'm not there to make that decision. It doesn't affect me that much. It's always kind of cool, like when the one for the winter and you get that extra hour of sleep, but then you lose an hour. I don't know.
I know.
No opinion on that one.
Brian, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Yeah, I'm just sort of mostly conservative by nature. If I don't see a strong pressing need to change something, I just don't feel like changing it.
That's where we differ, Brian. You're conservative. You don't like change, and I love change as long as it's something good.
I think we just said the same thing. I said I'm conservative unless I see a really compelling reason to make a change, and I do. Like, there's a lot of areas where I'll say, "Ask not what your country can do for you." What's that quote by Bobby Kennedy? It's something like about some people see the world and something about what it is, and I see the world for what it
could be.
For what it could be. Yeah, I'm
well, that would be me. I would fit into that category. I would embrace change unless there was a reason to keep it. But I just don't like change because there's a lot of people that are like that.
I guess the flip side of that is
they're stubborn. They're set in their ways, and I don't know how you go about life like that. But that's just me.
I like things as they are unless I find compelling reasons to improve something. I'm not convinced that eliminating daylight standard time makes a huge positive difference to the point where I would want to switch it. I remember bartending and going to bars on daylight savings days, and that was so fun when 1:59 hit and then it rolled back to 12:59. You had an extra hour at the bars before they closed at 3. So it was like that. I like those little moments. Like, for me, I loved those, but that is
it was Vegas, man. It was 24 hours. It didn't matter.
Okay, I'll give you that. I said there's always next year. Kenneth reminds us there's always next beer. That is true. Okay, let's jump into today's show. First topic. Let's get right into it, Blake. Maybe this would be a good time to pull up your thumbnail, because I believe your thumbnail is directly related to this topic here. We titled today's show, "The Omni-BS Spending Bill Has Been Blocked by MAGA." And yeah, they're trying to make Elon the bad guy here, but it ain't about Elon. This is about the MAGA movement. Join or get the hell out of the way. You're going to get steamrolled if you're not going to jump on board, because we're done. We're done stealing all of this money and raising our taxes and lowering the purchase power of our currency in the process. We're done. I hope you had a great time looting our coffers at the Treasury and this $30-40 trillion in debt that none of us rang up. We're not responsible for. But there's about to be a new sheriff in town, Blake. CR is cooked, pulled pork.
Yeah, this is a fun one, I guess. Little Christmas spirit. And yeah, it was insane, this new omnibus bill that they threw on the desk. Like, we're expected to go along with this. This is way how Washington has worked for too long. I think it's time. Yeah, people are got to reevaluate things and how we're wasting way too much money. And now it's time for Dad to straighten out the finances. So.
Absolutely, and there's a million angles to unpack here. I'm not sure entirely where you wanted to start, but there's a single issue. Can we just try single issue votes from now on? Of course not, because they can't plunder our money that way. I did call Grizzly. Grizzly is our contact down in North Carolina. By the way, if anybody wanted to assist him in his efforts to help in the rebuilding efforts down there, he's on Cash App at Fabled Remedies 1. It's $ Fabled Remedies 1, and he is getting supplies together and helping communities out that have been devastated by the hurricane. But that's what they do, Blake. They try to wrap it up and go, oh, well, I mean, I know it's like 3 days from Christmas, but if we want to help the people in the path of Hurricane Helene, we got to hurry up and pass this thing. You're like, no, MFer. That would be a 1-page bill with a dollar amount. You handed us a stack like this, like Pelosi going, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to pass it so you can find out what's in it. We're not doing that anymore. Did these people not get the effing memo? Speaker Mike Johnson, I might as well call him former Speaker Mike Johnson. My God, what did you think you were doing? Did you think you were going to get away with this? Trump took you to the Army-Navy game, I think. Trump took you to the MMA events. You were the dorkiest kid in school, hanging out at the cool kids table, and you couldn't even do your main job. You couldn't even read the room and stop this shit from ever coming up to a vote. But now Trump's supposedly, allegedly backing him. If he does pull it, I'm a little confused, but Blake, let's unpack all the details here.
Well, I don't know. They're trying to work with him, but I don't expect Mike Johnson. He's not like this powerful alpha that's going to do things on his own. No, he's just trying to get everybody on the same page. I don't really expect much from him. And yeah, it's fine. They're going to try to be nice and civil and get along. A lot of these things are about compromise in Washington and getting things done. But this is not how you get things done. This is the omnibus bill's little photo op to show you just the absurdity and how big this thing is. And then it's supposed to be like a rule. They have to give you at least 72 hours to read it. But I mean, you just can't be doing stuff like this. Obviously, they're trying to squeeze a bunch of stuff in there, the pork, as they call it, and then just kind of pass it before you find out what's actually in it. So I kind of joked about this, saying, I wonder how Washington would have responded. I mean, George Washington, or our forefathers. I was just trying to get the tweet framed right here. But yeah, he'd probably, if George Washington, if you threw this on his desk, he'd probably have some shots from his flintlocks, I'm guessing. Somebody's probably getting, not necessarily shot, but maybe shot at. Of course, the flintlock's not reliable. Maybe misfired, but I think somebody's going to be held accountable for that, because that's the kind of bureaucracy that they had. This is what you would see in, from the King of England or something. So this is why they started this country, to avoid this kind of crap, this endless legal BS, and that people would never be able to read or understand. This should have just been, 20 pages at most. And instead, this is how they get away with things in Washington. So they've set this precedent for too long, and they've normalized this. This should not be normal, and they shouldn't be blaming Elon for helping save the country money. So it's bizarre.
Absolutely.
For sure. So it's been rejected as far as I can tell, and they're going to have to pull some stuff out of it. That's fine. But I mean, it's ridiculous. People that try to jam this stuff in there should, be penalized for this stuff. And I know that they were trying to put stuff in there so people couldn't retaliate for the January 6th commission. Like they were just, and who knows what else. We can go through some of the items that were in there, but there's no way anybody could possibly read that. You need teams of people, but now we have AI to sort all that out. So I don't know where we want to start. We can go with Trump saying he's totally against the bloated omnibus spending bill, most foolish and inept thing ever. So they're trying to cram through the lower chamber to keep the federal bureaucracy funded through March 2025. Of course, they're trying to threaten that the sky is going to be falling because government's going to be shut down. But they should have thought of that before they tried to put all this BS in there. So in a joint statement posted to incoming VP J.D. Vance's X account, Trump and Vance scolded congressional Republicans for trying the most foolish and inept thing ever and allowing their country to hit the debt ceiling in 2025. And instead of passing a bill that would give sweetheart provisions for government censors and for Liz Cheney, who could be looking at 20 years, so no wonder they tried to jam this stuff in there, because they're terrified of what's going to happen.
What is that angle about? The fact that They tried to put language in that's going to protect the corrupt members that were 20 years. These people were engaged in treason. This was ousting a sitting president and blocking the current president. You got him coming, you got him going. You're not going to be able to say, well, he wasn't sitting president at the exact time, so it's not technically treason. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, it was. I don't know what they think they're going to try to get away with here. I just don't see it happening.
Well, it's very clever. I kind of admire the fact that they were, able to do that. Like within all this, like if this was the older days and they didn't have like the teams to go through all this monstrosity, then they might have already passed it before they found out what was in it. And then, oh my God, oh no, you can't go after Liz Cheney because didn't you guys see in the omnibus bill, like, buried on page 745 that you can't do that anymore. This is like, signing a deal with the devil. It's like, oh, okay, just sign. Everything's going to be good. Just take your word for it. You don't want to read all that. But yeah, that's what they were trying to do. They're making it easier to hide the records of the corrupt January 6th committee and give Congress a pay increase while many Americans are struggling for Christmas. Trump and Vance said that House Republicans should pass a streamlined spending bill that doesn't give Chuck Schumer and the Democrats everything they want. So, yes, you want to support farmers, pay for disaster relief, set the country up for success. So they could do a temporary funding bill without all the giveaways combined with an increase in the debt ceiling. Anything else is a betrayal of the country. I agree. So we shall see how they respond to that.
Yeah.
1,547 pages. Oh, yeah, they're demanding censorship of Americans, NFL earmarks. I guess that's going to be funding the new stadium for the Washington Commanders or Redskins or whatever they're going to call them, and provisions that would give legislators a way to skirt Obamacare. So it's full of excessive spending, pork barrel politics, special interest giveaways, and should not pass. Yeah.
Well, Elon said this. Make sure you're following the New American Media on X at American_media_ at American_media_.
Hello, Jane. Yes.
We're at 98.6 thousand posts in the lifetime of our Twitter X experience. Almost 100,000 posts for the New American Media. Also follow Blake. He's at TV's Blake Walley. Elon said no bills should be passed, and no bill should be passed to Congress until when real Donald Trump takes office. None. Zero. Fair.
Yeah, it should be common sense. So there's no reason to pass something through March. We have the new president coming in, totally new administration, new people in Congress, new Senate. Yeah, it should absolutely wait till they come in. The new people should be briefed on this, or the people that are going to be coming back could be briefed on this, or vote on this. But yeah, there should be the people that are lame ducks shouldn't have anything to do with this. They shouldn't be spending any more money or giving themselves more handouts. That's insane. Looks like we've lost Brian for the minute. Looks like his internet was cutting out there. So I will just continue on with some of the other stories here. Most of them are fairly similar. We'll try to find a few highlights before we change the subject. Federalist has a few articles here. Yeah, Elon Musk on the bloated 1,500-page omnibus. This bill should not pass. Ever seen a bigger piece of pork? They sure have had similar sized ones in the past, including the dreaded Obamacare bill. I think that was over 2,000 pages, so that was actually significantly bigger. But this should not be happening here. This should not be, 20, 30 pages? How much do they really need? It should all be transparent, or they should break it up into pieces and vote on them separately instead of just these long, these huge, overarching bills with way too many things in them. So Brian looks like he's popping back in. Let's see. Here we go. Elon Musk cheering victory as Speaker Johnson's spending bill stalls. And after Trump and Musk threatened to primary anyone who would vote for it. So sometimes you got to issue those little threats. They should just kind of want to do their jobs to serve the public. And it's sad that it's come down to this, but they've absolutely destroyed this country financially with all of their ridiculous spending.
Kyle Becker here, he says, Trump has a mandate. This is a no-brainer. Many of these Republicans wouldn't be in office if Donald Trump endorsed their primary opponents. These GOP turncoats are playing with fire. Ask Liz Cheney. You know, like I don't know how they could read the room so poorly. That's the part that I'm just not quite following.
What do you mean? No, they just don't care. They're only sad because they're getting called out on it. No, it's not about reading the room. Yeah, they should know, but I mean, they're insulated in their own bubble. That's the way that things have been working in Washington for 30 years or more. And so they just normalized, getting away with this stuff. Even though there's been pushback over the years, but there needs to continue to be more. And this is what the Americans voted for in November, was this kind of doge. We're tired of the way things are and the way that these people are just, giving our money away and bringing people over the border, and they're not giving aid to the people in like North Carolina who could use it from the hurricane. It's ridiculous. So they should not be they're supposed to be in charge of spending money, but they are just throwing everything on a credit card, and then they're giving themselves big raises and benefits, and while the rest of us suffer. It's gone on too long.
Yes, a couple of comments here. Rick Norman saying, and the Biden presidency is invalid, which makes all the policies under him invalid. I do have a hope that we're going to get to the bottom of what happened 4 years ago. As soon as Trump takes office and gets access to everything he should have had access to from the beginning. It would be very helpful to put 2020 behind us and put it into the proper context, if any of that could be proven. Robin is saying, Merry Christmas, Blake and Brian. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Robin. Merry Christmas.
This is a great comment here. Rick Norman saying, it feels like Musk is the VP, not Vance. What say you to that, Blake? That's an interesting thought.
Well, yesterday I was looking at the leftists last night, just having a field day with this. Like, Elon's now the president and Trump is the puppet. So it's just like the puppeteer. It's I don't know. It's ridiculous. I think it's great to see two fine minds, two very successful people working together for the betterment of the country. I think that's awesome. Meanwhile, what did they try to do? They had a dementia patient and a drunk.
Yeah. And by the way, do we want to bring up the Biden story? I mean, there wasn't much to say on that. I think that back, and then we could get back to this one. But that's a perfect segue there into that topic. Like I said, I don't think there's too much to cover. But do you agree or disagree talking about Biden being what'd you call him, a mental patient?
Dementia patient. Yeah.
What'd you call him again? I talked over you.
A dementia patient.
Dementia patient. There we go. So do you agree or disagree then, Blake, that Biden's staff should be charged criminally for hiding his mental decline? And I know we'd normally go on and on about the omnibus, but this was the perfect chance to hit this topic and bounce off of it, I suppose.
Maybe some of them. I don't know. I don't know how to quite say that. I want to say disagree to some extent, because then they would have put themselves at some major risk if they were going to be like blowing the whistle, right? Because then they would have to be telling somebody like, oh my God, he's not all there, but they're, trying to pass laws. They're using him as a puppet. Like, this is terrifying. They probably, would have gotten in so much shit, whether they, like Hillary Clinton, like on the body count, somebody's going to die, or somebody's going to be in trouble. Somebody's going to have their career destroyed. We've seen what's happened to some of these like FBI whistleblowers. And so I wouldn't blame them. Who wants to say that? And then who's actually going to cover it? Who are they going to go to? You can't go to there's no integrity in the liberal media. A lot of them knew about the decline and didn't say anything. Like, those people should be held more accountable to some extent. But I mean, there's a freak out going on because the O'Keefe Media Group, OMG, James O'Keefe, they're doing these undercover videos where they're getting some, high profile people that are involved, that are in those, that know full well that he was declining. There's a recent one. Let's pull this one up. DHS Undersecretary for Policy reveals that Biden's mental decline accelerated 12 to 24 months into Biden's presidency. So that it was said Trump's win was a traumatic and crushing blow. Where he says Biden has degraded faculties. This is Robert P. Silvers.
And by the way, if they saw a marked change, what did they say? 12 to 18 months into the presidency?
12 to 24 months. Yeah. So you can say the first year was, he was just goofy and weird. But then within that second year into that, you could see a very noticeable decline. And in the last 2 years, they've just been propping them up.
Yep. But while that may be true, Biden was a train wreck in that entire campaign. The campaign that he ran out of his basement, they were calling lids on his campaign at like 8 in the evening. The dude was toast when they were running him. He was the most unliked person other than Kamala Harris in the entire Democrat Party. Nobody liked them. They went to do rallies. They'd put circles on the ground and they'd get like, I don't know, a handful of people to stand in circles. You're talking 100 people for an event. Trump's getting 20, 30, 40,000 people. It wasn't remotely close in 2020, and Biden was out of his mind then. He had no stamina. He had no, he was a damaged product 4 years ago. Now, if they're saying it got a lot worse a year or 2 years in, oh my God. I mean, we weren't starting off at a healthy place. We were starting off at broken. Then we went to what the heck? Oh my God, it's almost literally Weekend at Bernie's. Like just tying ropes around his hand to have him fake waving at people from the boat as the boat goes across the bay, and he's fake waving, and it's just his hand, lifeless hand waving. And then of course you heard the stories of a medical emergency going over Las Vegas, and that was right around the time that they pulled Biden away and put Kamala Harris in. And there were a lot of rumors that the real Joe Biden did not survive that medical event. Just rumors. Can't confirm any of that, but it's what you heard. And very shortly, like right around that time, they staged a coup to get rid of Biden, if Biden was still even with us, to put Kamala in. So, I mean, this has been a massive mess for a long time, Blake, but it's good now that we're putting the focus where it belongs, on the monsters that we're enabling this hoax to be perpetrated on the American people.
Oh, Brian, those are all just deep fakes.
That's right.
He's sharp as a tack. You're just lying. You're probably on the Russian payroll.
That's hilarious. Okay, do we have anything more on Biden? We could spin it off to Kamala Harris. We can get back to the omnibus as well, but Kamala is wrapped up in this because she was the number one person who had to keep lying for Biden, because she was the direct successor. She should have ran a 20th Amendment? Am I remembering the amendment?
25th, right?
Yeah. Why'd I say 20? The 25th, I knew that didn't sound right. The 25th Amendment, because he was incapacitated. He was out of his mind. He really had no business being propped up when God knows who is actually pulling the strings and running the country. This all falls on Kamala if we're going to blame people. And I know Kamala was a useful idiot, because she really is an idiot and a likely drunk or pill popper or something cognitively, which makes her behave as if she's drunk or high all the time. What do you have up here with the New York Times?
New York Times finally admitted, not like, that Biden was in decline, but they're just saying that, he probably couldn't handle another term. Okay, well, no shit. Well, thanks for telling us now, way after the fact. You should have, if you had any balls or any integrity, you should have said that like 6 months ago. You should have said that before the debate, when we all knew.
Well, you want to know something. Well, you want to know
if it would have gotten published, and then that guy would have been absolutely destroyed by all the leftists on Twitter. What are you talking about? No, he's fine. He can go another 4 years. Blah blah blah.
Sharp as a tack.
It's pathetic, but that's just what's happened. Do we want to answer a quick question? Or go ahead.
Yeah, let me just add one part to that. The story is that the team around Biden were keeping him so insulated that he wasn't even aware that he was being made fun of incessantly for all of his gaffes, that he wasn't like, he was so insulated and propped up if they wanted him to back out of the race, all they would have had to do was get accurate reporting. Instead, they put fake polls out there to be like, oh, yeah, look, Biden has a chance. Look, Biden's ahead. Biden's in the lead. Part of the delusions of grandeur that Joe Biden had was because he was kept in the dark. His handlers kept the media in the dark. Of course, they weren't in the dark. They knew, and they were on payroll, but they kept Biden in the dark that he was facing such criticism for being, I mean, God, remember how old Ronald Reagan was blasted every day by the press? Well, none of that was happening for Joe Biden. They were just running their scam. They were just happy that Trump was out. They were just happy they kept Trump out of office. They didn't give a shit. Yeah, sharp as a Q-tip, Kenneth. Right. So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack here, Blake.
Certainly is. We want to answer this question real quick. Robin says, what do you think about Elon? I like his present-day behavior. It certainly seems like a MAGA man. I would agree. She says, they also remember when he wanted to implant a chip in everyone's brain. I say Elon 2.0. I think it's for, certain people with memory issues, probably would be like a dementia patient. Maybe they should use Joe to test that, the chips. But, there is something suspicious, and, it's awesome that he's bought Twitter, but now it's like he has all of this data, and he's got the Grok AI, which is going to be, I believe, the most powerful AI, because there's just so much information, all of the Twitter users constantly putting information into it. So there is that risk that, yes, the world's smartest man is going to have way too much information, and it could be used against us. I noticed some conspiracy theories, but I don't know how deep down the rabbit hole we want to go. But yes, people should probably be a little skeptical. It's always healthy, because you just never know. But yes, he does seem like a great guy, and I want to just continue with that narrative, but always be a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, and don't forget, Elon could never become president because he's the world's most successful African American. He was not born here, however, so he cannot serve. He is not qualified. Although if you look at the Obama situation, maybe history will unveil some more stuff regarding that as well, because I think that was initially where so many people got turned off on Donald Trump, because he was calling out lack of verification that Obama was born in the United States. The birtherism is what they called it. But when you dug into it, you're like, well, just where's the document? Who approves? Who is it that verifies the eligibility for the people involved in this? I made a couple hundred phone calls and nobody verifies anything, is what I figured out. And it came down to, look, well, here's a certificate of live birth. Right. That's not a birth certificate. You're saying on this date at this time, you're going to verify that this human being exists at this point. That doesn't show when this person was born or where. And there were some mysteries surrounding all of that. But yeah, Elon cannot become president of the United States. So this is about as close as he could get. Although, Blake, people are saying he should serve as Speaker of the House. I don't know what you think about this. Kenneth saying chips only belong in my mouth. Get in my belly. But I don't know. What say you?
I don't know. With all due respect to Elon, who is a super genius, one of the world's smartest men, he's not a great speaker. So I don't think that would be a good idea. So, but I am a fan of Vivek. Vivek is an outstanding communicator, super sharp. I think he would be more suited for a position like that. But certainly, yeah, somebody to get up there that has some balls. But I do like the idea of Elon having a lot of, getting to meddle in Congress a lot. We need outsiders to change the way Washington works. So,
well, this is the opposite of what these two are yakking about. Let's hear what they have to say about Mr. Elon.
So I think it's fair to call this an 11th hour monkey wrench in the works. 2 days from.
Use the word monkey. That's racist.
Shutdown. What's the calculation here by Trump and Musk?
I don't really think there is a calculation. Honestly, I think they've been clearly, as Donald Trump has been asleep at the wheel. This is being negotiated intensively for weeks now.
Hold on. Like, okay, you could describe Donald Trump as a lot of things.
Yeah.
Could anybody describe Donald Trump as asleep at the wheel? He's been the hardest working politician I've ever seen in my lifetime in his campaign. And since he's been elected, he is nonstop. He's effectively been America's commander in chief since the election in November. I know it technically hasn't happened yet. Biden's out to lunch. Kamala's drinking her wine, rambling on non sequiturs back to back. Trump has been meeting with foreign leaders, setting tariffs, dictating the ends to wars and everything else. That's the exact opposite of asleep at the wheel, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not making any sense. He's living in his own little leftist bubble. If you get all your news from paid influencers on Twitter, you might be able to come up with that. Otherwise, no, we're just gonna laugh at you because that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Trump has never been not like Kamala. Like, where are they? Who's running the country? Where's Biden? He's campaigning from his basement. No, you always see Trump. Yes, he is a phenomenon. He's a force of nature and just a tireless work ethic, even into his 70s. So
exactly. Dan Goldman continues.
Hard to believe that Trump was not clued into what was going on, but probably more likely just paid no interest until his benefactor, the one who spent nearly $300 million.
His benefactor. Interesting word.
To get him elected, the one multi-billionaire, richest man on earth who has numerous federal contracts, chimed in to oppose this bill. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump scrambled to try to kill it because his puppet master said so. And this is one thing when you have Donald Trump governing by tweet.
Puppet master, Blake. Do you think Donald Trump has a puppet master? Do you think there's a single person he answers to?
No, that's insane. They tried to make that for Putin was controlling. It was so fucking ridiculous. And now they're saying this. Now Elon's controlling him. Nobody controls Donald Trump.
Yeah, and that's why the establishment couldn't stand him, because he wasn't on a Diddy tape. He wasn't on an Epstein tape. You couldn't blackmail, bribe, or control him. He has FU money, and he's not complicit in anything. He stays sober-minded, and he avoids these things. What was that thing just on the screen there, Blake, the one you just had about, they were saying in June about the vote? If you can pull that one back up there. I was just getting ready to read that. Said
you do a lot of X22. I haven't listened to X22 in quite a while.
Really? Interesting.
No.
But Pied Piper is saying that the June debate was done on purpose so they could get rid of him. Okay, yeah, I mean, to get rid of Biden, of course. He called it weeks before the debate. Yeah, and Trump has been sympathetic to Biden getting ousted. And I think Trump played Biden against the Democrats. I think you saw that. They've had several conversations, and Trump just played it up. He's like, Sleepy Joe, I'm sorry what they did. It's a shame they get away with it over and over, but with me, I'll get them back. I'll get them back. I think they formed a little bit of an odd alliance where the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And it was Pelosi, Obama, Harris that staged a coup on Joe Biden, just like the deep state staged a coup to get rid of Trump. Rick Norman wonders if Pelosi can drink her vodka on New Year's Eve. I know. Thoughts and prayers to Nancy Pelosi and her hip over in, where's she, Luxembourg? She's on an Air Force base in Norway or something.
Yeah, where is it? Like by Switzerland and France? I forget where Luxembourg is.
I don't know. Wherever she is.
Somewhere in Europe. Somewhere in Europe. Maybe she'll give her some wine. I don't know.
She'll get her vodka. Okay, let's continue on this little clip here.
As he did in his first term,
where
he was in communication with Congress. But now you have Elon Musk, an unelected oligarch.
An unelected oligarch. Let's talk about the oligarch, the unelected Zelensky that was propped up by Biden and Obama to overthrow Ukraine and destabilize the region, nearly pushing us into a nuclear World War III with that puppet back over there. I mean, come on, an unelected oligarch. Because he's joined the Trump cabinet. You could call him a Trump cabinet member, but no, they want to go with unelected oligarch, Blake.
Yeah, anything they can do to demonize him, I suppose, even though he's taking great risks to get himself involved politically and to get involved in by Twitter, and now he's getting involved with the government. Yeah, I mean, had they lost this election, then
Tweet
he knew that they were going to be targeting him next. So, no, I got much respect for Elon, but they don't. And they know that their time is coming to an end.
Yeah, he put it all on the line, just like all of us have had to, essentially. This post here from Western Lensman, where I got this from, they called him an unelected oligarch governing by tweet. He says, LOL, no. Trump and Elon represent the voices of Americans that are tired of business as usual in D.C. Americans that overwhelmingly voted for exactly the kind of change that we saw today. D.C. should start getting used to the idea that things are different now. And these narratives are just as dead as the bill they just tried to cram down America's throat. All right, let's wrap this clip up. Whoop, where's the volume?
Governing by tweet. Now, this is absurd. And what we have here is a bipartisan deal that Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, negotiated and brought to the House that has been scuttled by Donald Trump and Elon Musk and is putting us on the brink of a government shutdown.
Oh, dear Lord, Blake, not a government shutdown. However, will they money launder the stolen funds like pirates?
Right.
Face palm time, Jane. Face palm time.
Yeah.
All right. So that's Elon there. Did we have anything else on Biden's decline or Kamala? And then if we had anything on the CR, the continuing, it's all these stories are intertwined for different ways. So we're kind of going diagonal. We call it a weave. Lots of stories, limited time. They said, sir, you're talking about 20 topics. I can't follow what are you even saying? I call it a weave. Call it a wide weave.
Right. Well, I guess we can just knock out this Kamala story real quick since we're on the subject. Since we have brought it up, does she deserve a $20 million or just deserve $20 million to write a tell-all book?
By the way, isn't that the exact amount that her campaign's overspent?
Yeah, I believe so. So she had like $1 billion that they spent, and they still ended up $20 million in debt.
Well, that is the Democrat for you. Whatever they have, they're going to overspend it and devalue the dollar in the process. That is, and that's not to say the rhinos aren't the same, but that's why the rhinos have been thrown out of that Republican Party. You're not welcome in the Republican Party anymore. You can go be a Democrat. Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, Adam Kinzinger. Peace out, piss off. Goodbye. You've got mail. Goodbye. Deuces. See ya. But yeah, I find it very interesting that they overspent by $20 million. And now she gets a $20 million bribe. I mean, kickback. I mean, payoff. I mean, book deal.
Yeah, and she might get an exclusive contract with Netflix.
The Obama company that gave us, what's that, End of the World movie?
I don't know. I didn't watch it yet. I don't know if I will, but yeah.
Well, although I will go see Homestead. Did you see that one? Homestead from Angel Studios?
Nope.
A nuclear bomb goes off in Los Angeles, and they have to flee, and then they start a homestead, and they have to fight against hordes of people. Like it's from the same people that gave us those other Angel Studios movies about the missing kids and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, we'll continue here. I'll pull up.
Is that Netflix, or is this something I got to get on the internet?
No, it's in theaters. Yeah. Sound of Freedom. They put out Sound of Freedom.
Oh, okay. Well, sounds interesting. You have to send me a link so I can at least catch the trailer or something.
I think there's 2 days left. I think if you buy a ticket in advance, you're entered into a raffle. I think you have 2 days left where you can win like a $300,000 homestead, or you can get like a homestead and a property and a vehicle, and it's like it'll get you off the grid and owning a place, like your own homestead. So buy a ticket, win a homestead. I mean, so I'm gonna do it. But I love these apocalyptic stories because, come on, man, we are so close to one bad guy doing one bad thing and kicking us into a place that we couldn't even fathom with our tiny human brains. So anyway, I digress, but it's something worth checking out. Yeah, Kamala Harris, $20 million bribe, Blake.
Well, yeah, it's a book deal because I'm assuming they can think that they can make money off of this somewhere. But the Daily Mail notes that the source told them virtually the moment Kamala lost to Trump, the offers began pouring in from the publishing world for her to do the definitive book. Well, I mean, if she was okay, right. if she was a sane and normal person and they wanted to get an insider perspective on what happened in the White House, that'd be perfectly acceptable. But she's not. She's out to lunch. She's not normal. She's a drunk. And we don't know how she even got there to begin with. So
she's
failed her way up.
She's the fence post turtle. Nobody knows how she got up there. That whole story. I want to give a special shout out to Grizzly, everybody. He's in the chat room. I did reach out to Grizzle Mashizzle. Kenneth is hoping that things are getting better in North Carolina. Kenneth, in the comments section, how are things? What's the update? We will put your link over there if people want to help Grizzly. He's on Cash App at fabledremedies.com. And Grizzly, is there another place that I'm supposed to promote other than the Cash App? Is there I forget, is there a Venmo or something? But we've sort of adopted Grizzly to help out so he can help out, so they can help out other people along the chain there. But I did reach out to try to get Grizzly into today's program. It didn't work out logistically, but the point of that being was that the powers that be in Congress were using this Omni-BS spending bill to hide behind the fact that, oh, well, we can't help out Americans in Hurricane Helene's path unless we pass this thing. And it's like, nope, you are not hiding behind that. It's like when the Gold Star moms come out and turn political and bash Trump. And it's like, no. You're not free of criticism just because you're a Gold Star mom or a Gold Star father. No. You are open to all the same criticisms because what's fair is fair. You don't have magic abilities where you can't be criticized. Just like these people in Congress don't have the magical ability to just put out a group of people that are horribly mistreated, ignored, and left to fend for themselves, essentially, and then just kind of cloak it with, well, we better hurry up and pass these. What is it, 1,500 pages, Blake, that nobody had a chance to read? I mean,
1572, yeah.
It's insane. Oh, that's great. Rising from My Knees. That's a fun title name over there. A fun comma. I know that's fake, but good Lord. She did fail her way upward by kneeling on downward over there in San Francisco, right? What was that guy's name?
Was it Willie Davis or something? Who was
Willie Brown.
Willie Brown, my bad.
Yeah, slick Willie Brown. So yeah, Kamala doing her thing, getting her 20 million. It's just she's so unlikable. There's nobody clamoring to hear what she has to say. She's never said anything. She speaks in gypsy curses. I think it was comedian Tim Dillon that I heard him say that, and I'm like, I can't ever unhear that. And I think Trump said she speaks in nursery rhyme. The bus goes here, the bus goes there. So it's like she speaks in nursery rhyme gypsy curses. It's just I've never heard anybody speak so much and say so little.
Well, there is some there is some new stuff on there. There's a couple more clips. I didn't see all of them, but yeah, she just made this weird, awkward speech where it looks like she was drunk at like noon.
Inebriated.
Yes, yeah. So she was another speech at this school. America was once reminded again Tuesday that not only President Trump literally dodged a bullet, but the country dodged one too in the form of Kamala Harris speaking at something or other for students, recent graduates, volunteers, and apprentices at Prince George's Community College in Maryland. Harris pulled another word salad out of her arsenal, prompting the young people in the crowd to start laughing at her. Load of nonsense. Here's a quick clip.
Oh boy, brace yourselves.
And I ask you to remember the context in which you exist. Yeah, I did that.
That will haunt your dreams.
We dodged such a bullet with her. I mean, when Trump dodged the bullet, America dodged the bullet. To have to listen to this when she was talking to Brett Baer, she's like, you know what I mean? He goes, no, I don't know what you mean.
Right.
Like, what was she even trying to say there? You know, the context in which we exist. No, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean the context in which I did that? I did what? What is she? It's like she's having a phantom conversation inside of her own head. There's no connective tissue between what she's talking about and whatever punchline she thought she delivered. It's like she's a mental patient, Blake.
Yeah, who knows what she's actually like behind the scenes, but we've seen parts of it and they can't cover it up. So she really had some terrible interviews. She bombed them all, and then she couldn't do the one with Joe Rogan. There was no way that they would allow that to happen, and they would have had to control everything and probably edit it. They even had to edit her on 60 Minutes because she was answering the questions so poorly.
Yep. Well, Blake, behind the scenes, we read how many times. You know, I will be the first to tell you that when it comes to an unnamed White House senior official reported to CNN. Okay, bullshit. I'm just gonna I have almost no interest in hearing what's about to come next, because that's what you do whenever you're trying to plant a fake story. A senior ranking official from the White House told us at MSNBC. Bullshit. Name them or shut up. I'm not buying it. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's listen to one more clip. They did it. I watched part of the Gutfeld show last night, and they pulled out some more extensive clips, and it was just it was a huge cringe fest. She's so awkward, and nobody could. Everybody came to the conclusion that she's just wasted up there, and I don't know why they put her up there, but I guess she insists, and somebody has to do it, but they can't control her from she probably needs a few drinks just to relax. I don't know. They got to stop signing her up for stuff.
Well, she's going to run for governor is the new story. Newsom's going to run for president, and she's going to run for governor.
Oh my God! Well, then just California's just gone. Let's watch another clip. I think this is probably an extended clip of the last one, but let's let her rip.
The true test of our commitment is whether, in the face of an obstacle, do we throw up our hands or do we roll up our sleeves? And as we approach, and I ask you to remember the context in which you exist. Yeah, I did that.
You're so proud.
Oh my God. I don't know how her husband's a dirtbag from everything I can see. So I don't know. Could you imagine dating her and hanging out and you're having glasses of wine and you're trying to tell jokes and she has an awful laugh? I mean, I don't know how anybody could deal with that. And then of course she's got the 92% staff turnover. I couldn't imagine that would be like.
Blake, that's what I was starting to get to in the previous point, and then I was going to pivot, and my engine stalled out as I went. Am I turning left or turning right here? I was going to say, how many times did we bring it up and discuss on the program previously? The times that, although I don't put any faith in a senior White House official says, how many people that worked in Kamala Harris's office left and talked about the most toxic workplace environment they've ever been in? That's the point. I was connecting three stories. They said moving wildly. I said it got icy. But yeah, that's what I was getting at there. All the reports are she's a demon to work for.
Right. So yeah, I think somebody probably deserves to get 20 million, but I want to hear what really happened there behind the scenes. Because why is she going to write a book? I doubt that she would actually have the ability to do it. And so yeah, there's no reason to trust. I think Robin McBride said something like that. Yeah, we'll never get the truth. And it's not like she would actually write it anyway. And then, of course, she would cover up all of the problems that would make her, criminally complicit, perhaps, in, what was actually happening, and that, Biden was not fit to be president. And why didn't they, put the 25th Amendment, or why didn't they say anything? But then she would have been in charge. So that was another shit show entirely that we would have dodged. But
right, that is a good point. Kenneth saying that she's a hyena, emphasis on HIGH. Yeah, whether she's high or not, she sure is. Yeah, there he goes. I'm slurring my words. I'm exhibiting all the classic earmarks of inebriation. All the classic earmarks. Yes, she's a hyena. Pied Piper saying, listening to Kamala talk is like listening to a speech from a 7th grader running for student council. I think the 7th grade student council speech would be way more coherent, Blake.
Right. And right. Yep.
Oh, one more thing here. Kenneth is saying, instead of Kamala saying, are we gonna hike up our sleeves, roll up our sleeves? Kenneth's like, yeah, we're gonna hike up our skirt. Yeah, that's how she got her career going. Willie Brown, sweet Willie Brown, married man Willie Brown, and Kamala Harris just trying to make her way in politics. All right, so what is that? That's a picture of who? Is that Biden in there?
You sent me this once from the Wall Street Journal, showing the White House went to great lengths to conceal Biden's decline, not just from the American people, but for members of his own cabinet and key Democrats on the Hill. They limited his interactions and used go-betweens to reduce visibility into how frail he'd become, or he had become. So, yeah, there's a problem. They covered up his decline for at least 2 years, and then they pretended that he was as sharp as ever.
Yeah, I know.
Joe Scarborough.
Joe Scarborough will never live that down. He deserves. Nor should he. Okay. Well, I think we're done on the Biden and the Kamala stuff, right? Do we want to get to the two people prosecuting Trump stories, Merchant and Willis, or do we want to go back to the CR and talk about Congress getting raises if the budget is balanced?
We can do that. Sure. Knock that one out quick. The raises.
Okay. Let's go with that one. Let's kind of hit reset here. Blake, agree or disagree that Congress should only get raises if the budget is balanced? Agree or disagree?
Absolutely agree. And this was actually put out by Elon, who said that. They're having a big controversy because Cat Turd and Eye Patch McCain, Dan Crenshaw, and Nick Sortor, they all got into a big explosive Twitter war.
This Dan Crenshaw, man, you know, he started off where you went, you know, this guy seems all right. And the more you watch him, you're like, I don't like this guy much at all. Like, whatever I thought he was, I think I'm wrong. I think a lot of people have turned on Eye Patch McCain. I mean, the fact that we don't even say his name anymore, he's just Eye Patch McCain.
Yeah, he's got a lot of issues. And one of them was, I guess, he was really trying to push for this getting raises in Congress, which did not go over well, which led to that, Elon, who said, Congress should only get a raise when the budget is balanced.
And it's not even about a raise. They should forfeit their pay and their pension if they can't balance the budget. It's not just that you shouldn't get a bonus. You shouldn't even get your basic pay. Fail to do your basic job and put us in debt, you're fired. You're working for free. You're done. You don't get rewarded for that. If you passed a bill saying that you had the only way you could draw a pension and collect a check is by balancing the budget, I promise you we'd have a balanced budget. Promise.
Yeah, so that would be a great way for them to reward themselves as they make this surplus and they have a lot of extra money and be like, wow, great job, Congress. You made America better. We funded all this great stuff and we have all this extra money. Like, yeah, go ahead. Get a bonus. Not necessarily like a raise, but you get nice big Christmas bonuses. I think it'd be great. But they have to earn that. So they haven't had a raise in, I guess, since like 2009, which is a long time. But I mean, look how much they've added to the debt. Look how corrupt they are. And then, of course, they're making so much money on insider trading. And of course, that's another big problem with Crenshaw is he is an expert at picking the right stocks. Or does he have insider knowledge like Pelosi, the poster child for insider trading along her and her husband, Paul. So, yeah, they got into this big war with, here's Nick Sortor calling him out. DC sources telling me that Crenshaw spearheading the effort to get a pay raise for Congress. He was asked about his stock trading. Crenshaw whined and said that Congress hadn't had a pay raise since 2009. And he got called out and... let's see, it escalated quite quickly. And then Cat Turd even got involved, to which Crenshaw was calling him an anonymous coward. He's saying, yes, he was a guy fighting wars why little bitches like you would never dare to. But then it turns out, Cat Turd is not an anonymous troll anymore. He's there. He is right here on the left. And he's been on Tucker Carlson's show, and he's also an Army vet. So hasn't been anonymous, and yeah, he's calling him out on the stock trades are public record, and that Crenshaw is a millionaire. So that was interesting to watch that out. Yeah, Cat Turd has been getting involved with a lot of this controversy, including, of course, Adam Kinzinger, which was hysterical as well. So it's good just to see the American people being able to call out their you couldn't do that back in the day. There's no way you'd have to like write a letter to Congress. Nobody would see that. Nobody would try to get published in the paper. You're not going to get on the news. Now you just go on X. Now social media, the great equalizer. So
yeah, they really can't put the genie back into the bottle with this. I wonder if the powers that be, when Al Gore, I invented the internet, I wonder if they would like to undo releasing the internet for everybody to have, because they've totally lost grip on all their power, control, manipulation. It's all been lies. It's all been obfuscation, magic work, magician work, sleight of hand, robbery, theft. It's just been piracy. And now they don't have the ability to do it anymore. My God, they tried during COVID. I don't know. I don't know how this world would be different, Blake, if Elon didn't have X. Where would we be broadcasting now? Rumble? I mean, YouTube would be more heavy-handed. Facebook, Meta, Instagram, they'd be more heavy-handed. I don't know. I shudder to think of a world where they could continue getting away with what they're used to getting away with. But I'm here for it. I will take it. Yeah, so keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on Eye Patch McCain over here, as he's known by. Okay, did we have anything else on the continuing resolution? It took a day for people to hear about this stuff and just demand it stops, and it stopped. So we'll see what they end up doing. I guess they vote for a new Speaker of the House. Was it January 3rd? Did I see? I might have the exact date wrong, but coming up in a couple weeks, they're going to vote on Speaker of the House, and I think Mike Johnson just got rid of it. He got rid of his opportunity to be that guy. Rand Paul was saying that they should put Elon in there. Thomas Massey called this. He knew what Speaker Johnson was going to do. He knew it 6 months ago. So I'm here for it. These Kevin McCarthy's and Speaker Johnson, I don't know. I'm ready for drastic change. It couldn't get here fast enough, Blake. Did we have anything else on the CR?
I think that's about it. Yeah, I think we covered that.
Then let's jump over to the lawfare situation with President Donald Trump. So, Blake, do you agree or disagree that Fani Willis should be disqualified from prosecuting Trump? Don't call her Fanny. Fani Willis.
Are they correcting that one? I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I know Kamala because people were
Kamala.
But it was Kamala. Yeah.
It's
you know what? Confused with the wrestler, right?
You know, look. When you have when you name a child something where it's like if you take a Scrabble board, has anyone played Scrabble? And you take the pieces and you dump them onto the table and they go blah, blah, Kamala, Fani. Like these are novel names that we don't have any reference to. So, name your kids something we've never heard. You're going to get pronunciations you've never heard. So
Fanny's been around. It's a classic name, right? But spelled differently. But yeah, I just thought it was Fanny. All right.
I call her Fanny. I call her Fanny. So agree or disagree, Blake, that Fani Willis should be disqualified from prosecuting Trump?
Well, she's already been disqualified, so it was really a poorly worded question on my part. Should she be disqualified? It's already been done. So
but does she deserve to be? Should she be banned?
Yes, absolutely. She's clearly politically motivated in this case and needs to recuse herself. But now they just disqualified her. So,
by the way, Blake, before we move on, I just want to give props to Rick Norman there. Kudos, good sir. I was calling him a pirate, and you said the Crenshaw's got a lot of use out of that eye patch. That's hilarious. And they're calling it Congress, emphasis on the C-O-N, con. Congress. Okay, continue, Blake.
That's right. They pointed that out. Was it what's the opposite of Congress? Is progress?
Yeah, Congress and progress.
Pros and cons, or-
Rick was chiming in on the internet question. He's often asked if they could reverse allowing the net to be open. And yeah, by the way, I don't know how much we covered. Trudeau might be on the way out, but they thought maybe yesterday he was going to resign. His number 2 has resigned. Number 2. But yeah, keep all eyes on Canada. But remember when they had their trucker rallies, they were going after people, trying to shut down the Give, Send, Goes and the GoFundMes. They wanted their internet censored globally because of the COVID shenanigans. They wanted the internet shut down. They didn't want us talking about things. You think they want us talking about all these foreign conflicts? They just want to be in a perpetual World War III like in 1984. You got 3 large nation states that are constantly at war, and like you can't even keep track of who's involved with who and who you're in allegiance with and who's your enemy, because it keeps changing and there's no history that's like everything's just convoluted. That is exactly what they wanted, Rick. They wanted the net to be closed. They did not want it open. It's Fani. Yeah, if it's Fani, it needs an H. That's the rules of English. Pied Piper saying rumor has it that the U.S. will annex Canada. I like it. And let's sign up Greenland and Canada. Let's expand. I am not conservative in some things when it makes sense. I want Canada and I want Greenland, and I'll throw in Mexico while we're at it. Like, this hemisphere needs to be strong. And if we can't trust our neighbors to the north or the south, take them over. If we can't have a reasonable border, you're down here, right. 51st state, 52nd state. Let's go. Anyway, we're off on a tangent, but let's get back to this story, Blake. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, a Georgia appeals court has disqualified Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis from her election-related criminal case against President Trump, although the indictment still stands. Trump and his co-defendants were charged for what was alleged to be a scheme to illegally overturn the results of the election in Georgia 2020. They pleaded not guilty. However, Willis's case hit a snag after it was revealed that she was engaged in a romantic relationship with the case's then special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. So, Fulton County judge in March ruled that Willis could remain as prosecutor if Wade resigned, which he later did. Trump and multiple co-defendants appealed the judge's decision to the Georgia Court of Appeals, which rendered its decision on Willis Thursday morning, saying, after carefully considering the trial's court's findings and its order, we conclude that it made an error by failing to disqualify D.A. Willis and her office. So, court added that a remedy crafted by the trial court to prevent an ongoing appearance of impropriety, if I can pronounce that, to address the appearance of impropriety. I can't pronounce that word.
Impropriety
that existed at times when Willis was exercising her broad pretrial discretion about who to prosecute and what charges to bring. Okay.
Pied Piper saying that we should call Canada Trump Canada, and Greenland should be Trumpland. I'm in. Let's go. I'm not conservative when it comes to great ideas, and I think it's a great idea. Let's go ahead and do that. Rick is saying owning Canada would really drop the price of lumber. Imagine the increase in work and jobs. Hey, now. I bet you Canada would love to be liberated. Make Canada great again. They have massive illegal immigration, illegal alien invasions going on there. They're trying to change the culture, change the history, change the shared experiences of the people of Canada. They're trying to do the Obama doctrine to blend every country, every sovereign nation by taking the Middle East and Northern Africa and just dumping all of these people from those places into every country, from Ireland to Great Britain to Canada, America, and everywhere else. I think part of what makes these countries great is that they have their own history, their own shared experiences, their own culture. It's just I've seen Canada fall so far under Justin Trudeau, rather, that it's just I can't help but think the people of Canada feel helpless to this Obama doctrine. But look, I think a lot of people across the globe are seeing if America can bring back Trump and restore sanity to the White House, they can do it too. And so I think the Trump effect, the Trump doctrine, you're about to see a lot of major change across the globe. Mark my words, there is going to be a ton of leadership changes, most of them rolling pro MAGA. So we'll see how it shakes out. Oh yeah, who you got here?
Populism. Yeah, this is your favorite journalist, or one of them, right? Jim Acosta.
Jim Acosta. Look how angry he looks. He is not happy.
He's always angry. That guy's seriously got some weird stuff going on. It's like another version of Keith Olbermann. He's probably going to just turn just as crazy.
Kenneth saying Canada under probation times was called Canada Dry. Nice. Yeah, they probably have maple syrup distilleries into rum or something. But all right, are you going to play a clip here? Nick, here's Nick Sorter again. We almost had Nick on the program during the East Palestine ecological disaster. Maybe it was Hawaii. I forget. I need to reach out to him. I don't know him, but I know he does some good work. So were we going to play this clip here?
Yes. So CNN having a meltdown over Fani Willis being removed from the Trump case in Georgia.
Jail is next.
Check this out.
Fani.
Jim Acosta with breaking news live on CNN.
We begin this hour with breaking news just into CNN. The Georgia prosecutor leading the state's election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump is now disqualified. CNN's Caitlin Polance is here with more. Caitlin, what can you tell us about this? This is just coming in in the last several minutes. This is a big.
Yes.
You go, her body language. She's like slanty. She's like diagonal. She's like, you're about to get some sassy Apple talk here. Like her body language is diagonal. Like, I don't know if you can see, like she's.
I don't know if she's a regular reporter, correspondent, or anything. I'm just assuming she's one of the nerds behind the scenes, but she's breaking this news.
Nerd.
She's not used to being on air. I don't know. I rarely watch CNN unless it's.
I know, only to laugh at it.
Right.
We watch the clips and laugh along with everyone else. Okay, let's hear what she has to say.
Okie doke.
Development.
A big development, and a big development that Donald Trump has wanted for a long time. That case against him in Georgia, the criminal case, where it's accusing him and several others of a racketeering conspiracy related to the 2020 election, it's already been paused. Now, it's not even backburnered. This is a case that will be dead in the water because the Georgia Court of Appeals is now saying that Fani Willis, the leader of the prosecution...
Okay, there we go. Fani. All right, whatever. I don't care. Fani, whatever.
Against Donald Trump, the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia, she should be disqualified from being able to bring that case. The Georgia Court of Appeals is saying that it's a significant appearance of impropriety caused by the conduct of a public prosecutor. That is Willis, how she behaved, how she was speaking about the case, about Trump publicly, about how she was having a relationship with the top prosecutor that was concealed in this, a man named Nathan Wade. All of that previously the trial level judge had looked at and said, Fani Willis can stay on this case. We're not dismissing the indictment. But the Court of Appeals is now taking another look and saying, no, the trial judge was wrong. Fani Willis should be disqualified from continuing to lead this case. It would be a long process, or it will be a long process, to replace her, which is why I say this case is dead in the water now without Fani Willis, the person who was leading this case against Donald Trump in Fulton County. And just to keep tabs on how many cases there are against Donald Trump criminally, the other two in federal court, January 6th, and classified documents, those are dismissed. And then the additional case in New York City, where he was set to be sentenced, that sentencing is now not happening. So as Donald Trump enters the presidency, each of these courts that is handling a criminal case is essentially removing that issue from him to have to deal with in any period of time in the near future.
All right, Caitlin Polance, thanks for that added perspective. Let me bring in CNN.
Okay, well, I don't know about meltdown, but certainly it's not a good day for Jim.
No, it's not. But I think it's high time that we investigate Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, Merchan, Willis, Fani Willis, and let's kind of pivot off of Fani Willis to Judge Merchan. Then she's out on her Fani. Yep, kicking her out on her Fani. But she needs to be disbarred. She needs to go to jail for civil rights abuses, election interference, all the stuff that the left has been yelling and saying the Republicans are doing to them. It's the stuff they're blatantly doing. Trump had he had thoughts on this, Blake.
Yeah, he sure did. Went to, I guess this is Truth Social. Breaking. This is, about Judge Merchan. Said in a completely illegal, psychotic order, the deeply conflicted, corrupt, biased, and incompetent acting Justice Juan Merchan has completely disrespected the U.S. Supreme Court and its historic decision on immunity. But even without immunity, this illegitimate case is nothing but a rigged hoax. Merchan, who is a radical partisan, wrote an opinion that is knowingly unlawful, goes against our Constitution, and if allowed to stand, would be the end of the presidency as we know it. Merchan has so little respect for the Constitution that he's keeping in place an illegal gag order on me, your president and president-elect, just so we cannot expose his and his family's disqualifying and illegal conflicts. Showing, yes, his activist daughter and the ties with his wife. Let's take a look, because this, Fani is one thing, but this is even more biased. This whole family is against Trump and is politically motivated lawfare. So let's check out the new FBI director, the incoming FBI director, Kash Patel.
Let's go.
All right.
Yeah, Kash coming in it is exactly what we need. He's saying the stuff, Blake, that you and I have been saying for 6 years, 8 years. It's
all right.
Finally competent people back again.
Absolutely. So here we go.
I don't think you have it pulled up, Blake. If you got to switch.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Let me try that.
There we go. Let me switch the screen. Okay, there.
Okay.
Where are the subpoenas for the judge in this case? And I just put up a post, and I'm sure people are going to say, oh, it's controversial. Tampering with the jury is illegal in every state and every federal jurisdiction across this land. If you intentionally give a jury unlawful guidance, you are tampering with the jury to seek a political outcome. Where are the subpoenas for the judge in this case for his daughter's money bin that she has created to the tune of tens of millions of dollars? And oh, by the way, this judge is married to a lady who worked for Letitia James herself. So where are the House Republicans sending these subpoenas, finding out how much of our taxpayer money was being utilized? Yes, state prosecutors use federal taxpayer dollars as well. And I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one witness testify. What happens if these House Republicans just would send Judge Merchan a subpoena? What is he going to do? Not show up? Where are the subpoenas for the judge in this case?
What they say is, if you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Huh.
Nah. But yeah, I mean, where are the Republicans on this? Where's the leadership? Why are they not going after? Well, I think regardless, Jan 20, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. And these people that have been getting away with bloody murder, they need to be disbarred. They need to be indicted, and they need to get locked up for a very long time to make sure you make an example out of these people and say, you don't get to do this. I don't know what Obama convinced you to do. I don't know why you are so stupid to believe that what you knew was wrong was okay because it was against Trump. Well, it ain't okay. Not A-okay. It ain't okay. So yeah, I got my fingers crossed, Blake, that there's about to be some swift vengeance. Really accurate justice after a fair and impartial trial, that these people lose their licenses. They are disbarred. They are shamed, tarred and feathered, politically speaking, and then imprisoned for a very long time. And if you can prove treason, civil rights abuses, election interference, I am so in favor of treason charges for so many people, because I don't know a way out of this. I don't know a way that we can prohibit this from ever happening again, unless we make sure these people become famous in history books for their treason and the subsequent penalty. So we will see how it shakes out. But I mean, the appearance of impropriety, how about complete political hit jobs that violate civil liberties to cause election interference from the jump, directed through the Obama or Biden White House? Wow. So now you got Biden, now you got Obama, now you got the powers that be. All connected. You're all going down. Oh, you're trying to politicize your office. No. That's what y'all did. Now we're going to use the office to go after you for your criminal activity when you tried to frame us. So reap the whirlwind. reap it. All right. Anything else on Judge Merchan, Blake?
I do not. So,
right,
do you have any other extra stuff? I know there's one more story. I don't know if you were going to talk about the Tate brothers or something.
Yeah, I probably have 5 stories I could just buzz through the headlines on, and then you have the Antarctica story. So we'll hit reset and we'll go right to it. All right, Blake, I believe I have the screen up. Yes, I do. Let me just run through a couple things that if you missed on X, I want to redirect your attention there. Follow Blake on X. He's at TV's Blake Walley, BLAKEWALLEY. And follow the new American media, because the old American media failed, on X at American_media_. I'm going to scroll fast. Check out this this clip here. Blake, I don't know if you watch this, but this was Primetime Stein.
Right.
Kind of funny. It's on our X feed. Check it out. This one here from Nick Sortor. Once again, third story. Right now, hundreds of illegal alien invaders are waving foreign flags and protesting President Trump and Tom Homan outside of the ICE facility in Los Angeles. He's saying these idiots are going to make mass deportations very easy for us. So keep your eyes peeled on that. What I responded with was, imagine sneaking into a movie theater, then standing up and yelling and disrupting the movie. This isn't going to end well for the people who illegally invaded the country. There is a line to enter the U.S. for work visas and a line to enter the U.S. to become a citizen. Get in line. Okay, so here, Mario Nawfal reporting that there's a major legal victory for Andrew Tate. The Romanian case has been now thrown back to the prosecutors in a dramatic turn. The Romanian court sided with Cobra Tate, halting his human trafficking trial and sending the case back to prosecutors over irregularities in the indictment. This ruling is a significant win for Tate, who has consistently maintained his innocence alongside his brother, saying they're victims of a coordinated attack. Wow. Sure seems like lawfare is the hot topic of the day. So for now, trial proceedings are paused, putting pressure on prosecutors to fix their case. This victory reinforces Tate's defense against what he calls a politically motivated smear campaign. Any thoughts on this one, Blake?
I doubt that. I think he's a total scumbag, and I'm not saying he was involved in trafficking or something, but there's obviously reasons why they moved to Romania, and they've taken advantage of these women. They've taken advantage of a lot of their people in this hustler university. I can't stand the guy, but maybe he's innocent. I don't know. Or else, he used to always brag that if he ever got in trouble, Romania, it's so corrupt, they'll just show up with a stack of cash like this and you can bribe anybody. And maybe he did, good for him. So I don't know. I don't have an axe to grind. I find him repulsive. And that's it. He certainly went through the ringer.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. They had 3 years to make a case, and they're like, you don't have a case here. So, I mean, if you've had 3 years to make a case and you can't, it's not much of a justice system if you can't stop this stuff. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on it. I don't know that I have a super strong opinion one way or another, but
yeah, he's no hero to me. I mean, he's occasionally puts out some good opinions, and I can agree with certain things, but no, I think a lot of it is just ill-gotten gains. He takes advantage of weak people. So.
All right, a couple of other quick headlines, and then we'll go to our final story about Antarctica. Disclosed TV is saying that Trump is calling for the abolishment of the debt ceiling. Still trying to understand exactly what that means. It's almost like a triple negative. But BRICS News is reporting Russia's President Putin is saying, I'm ready to talk and meet with Trump at any time. So I would say go ahead and get that started. DC Drano, if you're mad at Elon for stopping an awful DC spending bill, you are the problem. Let's see. Okay, there's one about the decline. Yeah, Trump says Speaker Johnson will easily remain speaker if he acts decisively and tough. So that's a vote of confidence. As long as he acts appropriately, we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, here you go. Speaker Johnson is saying Republicans cannot allow millions of Americans devastated by the historic hurricane season or our struggling farmers to go without the help they desperately need. Wah, wah. No, Mike Johnson, stop it. That is the same thing every time you try to pass a levy, raise taxes in a local municipality. Oh my God, if we don't get these price hikes, there will be nobody to drive the school buses. There will be no teachers or firefighters, or there will be no anybody anywhere. Do it for the children. I just hate people that hide behind things like this. It's so shady to me. I can't stand it. I don't like Speaker Johnson at all.
Yeah, if they care, then they could pass it as a separate bill, Johnson. There you go. If you really care, because a lot of us do. We do want some of those things to pass. That's cool. That's what it should have been in a 20, 30-page bill.
Yep.
Help the farmers, help the hurricane victims.
Nothing
and
for
all the
Ukraine.
out, and we're good.
No Ukraine, no Israel, no money laundering. Stop. Our money goes here. Our money stays here. Stop printing so much so we can raise the purchase power of the dollar. We're drowning under this inflation. God, I mean, 50 years ago, 70 years ago, one person used to be able to go to work at a normal job, come home and live in a gargantuan house and have money to keep his wife at home, raise a family, but they've stolen the purchase power of our currency. So, yeah, let's get this back on track. Mark.
Real quick. We do not see Deb. Kenneth is asking, do we see Deb from SAC? For some reason, she seems to be blocked on YouTube channels. I don't know what happened. We can see her from X, but otherwise she does not show up. So we love to get Deb's comments in here, but unfortunately we can't when she talks on YouTube. I don't know why that is. So Deb, love to have you, but you have to speak on Twitter, I guess.
Go on X. Blake is at TV's Blake Walley, and I'm at American_media_. This one here, this was a nice long post explaining government shutdowns from Mark Levin, your favorite guy, but he kind of gives you perspective about Reagan's presidency, that the government was shut down 6 times and over 20 times since 74. And then current presidents avoid it like the plague.
Well, I say Javier Milei of Argentina. I think they've had their first surplus or not deficit or what. They're actually in the money for the first time, and I don't know how long.
I thought it was like 137 years. I could be wrong on that, but it's been a long time, roughly 100 years.
Government is expensive to run.
It's just common sense. Here was something really important. I don't know why they're replying to Meghan McCain for this, but this is kind of what I'm hearing. Just a quick update on the drone situation. I've heard a few smart people saying something along these lines, that the drones could be mapping infrastructure or testing counter-drone capabilities, which is a relatively benign military exercise. But that raises its own question. Why not tell the public? Heads they win, tails you lose. Yeah, I'm hearing that it's a lot of mapping, whether that's so that we can get our own Iron Dome set up to protect the most vulnerable places and kind of figure out the best spots to lay the infrastructure. But anyway, we'll keep our eyes peeled on the drone situation over there. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to get to just from the headlines here. Yeah, Judge Merchan, there you go. Election tampering, his daughter running and making all this money off of it. I think that's about, yeah, I mean, I got stuff on Gates but anyway, go ahead. Let's go with your story, Blake.
Last story.
Yeah, check out the New American Media on X, because we put 100 stories on there every day. For now, let's pick our final topic, and then let's get ready for our upcoming show at 5 p.m. Eastern. That will be Strictly Football with Mike Barra and myself, Brian Engelman. Blake, you have an open invitation? Maybe Blake Walley?
I don't know. Yeah.
Talking about his Vikings. He could be documenting his ride to the first Super Bowl victory he's ever celebrated as a Minnesota Viking fan. If Blake chooses to, we will do that show either way in 21 minutes from now. So check out that show, and check out Blake's show from yesterday, Toxically Masculine Tuesday with Mike Barra, Trail Boss Steve Darn, and
Dr. Brooks Agnew.
Dr. Brooks Agnew. Yes, thank you. There we go. Okay, Blake, let's talk about the flat Earth debate. Is it finally settled now that we've had an Antarctic excursion? What say you? Agree or disagree? Flat Earth debate is settled.
As far as I'm concerned, yes. Hopefully this puts this controversy to bed forever, because it's ridiculous and it got way out of control. And they've done experiments, and this was probably, this should end all the debate on it, because they're all saying that they're so insane that there's like some kind of ice wall. Like if you just go far enough that, because the Earth is flat, it's got to have some kind of a border, but it's going to be an ice wall.
Like the Truman Show, there's a dome, and you get to the edge of the dome, and then maybe there's a door at the end of the dome, and then you walk outside of the dome. But yeah, like Truman Show, there's an ice wall, there's a dome.
Yeah, but they've done mental gymnastics for years to try to prove that the Earth is actually flat. I don't even understand the conspiracy of why they would try to say that, or they're going to get all pilots and all astronauts to make sure, don't you tell the people that the Earth is flat, because that's the biggest secret in human history. You can't be allowed to say anything. Like what, the simulation's going to end? I mean, I don't know. I never really understood why they would push this. I think a lot of them were paid, and a lot of them might just be useful idiots. And I don't know. But they are really a nasty crowd, too. So you got to be careful. But this flat earther, well, with all due respect, this guy has done actually a couple of experiments which have disproved it. One that he was like using like a laser flat on like a long enough scale where you could tell like it obviously there is a curvature of the Earth. But now he actually went down to Antarctica.
Nice. And let's do
Right.
Science is meant to be experimented on every single day. There's no opinion that you're not allowed to hold. And you can do as much research as possible. In fact, we encourage you to do so. The exact opposite of what they said during COVID. It didn't come from China. It came from a wet market. Bullshit. It didn't come from a biolab. Bullshit. Like you're supposed to. This is not effective to treat COVID. This is not effective. You may only do this one thing that's not effective. There is no one version of science. Trust the science. I am the science. Test science every day. They're called hypotheses, and you're allowed to have them and test them every single day. That's the only world I want to live in. I want flat Earth researchers, Blake, to be testing every day, every week, every month. Keep doing more tests. And if maybe something comes up that we all change our mind on. Remember, they would lock people up in castles for the rest of their lives if they went against the Pope because he said, well, the universe doesn't revolve around Earth. We revolve around the sun. Heretic! Burn her! Burn him! Okay, well, look, science is science. And you can come up with something until you disprove that thing. So that's what I want out of science. Rick is saying his sister's best friend was married to the man who directed missile points for the U.S. Navy. His calculations are based on the Earth's curvature. My God. Exactly, Blake.
Yeah, certainly. It's fascinating to see that was still like going on in the 21st century.
Brittany saying Fani being removed is awesome, but why do they allow the indictment to stand? Exactly. Why haven't the charges been dismissed? They will be, and she will be indicted. Why is the president-elect still out on bail for $200,000? Hey, thank you. Why does it take 3 months to kick out somebody that we fired? If you fire somebody at a large corporation, you're escorted out by security. You have 10 minutes to grab your stuff at your desk and go. And usually it's packed up for you. Brittany says, this news will just remind everyone that Trump is still facing numerous felonies. And unless something changes before inauguration, he'll be the first president running the U.S. while out on bail. Yeah, this whole thing going on in New York, Merchan, he's next. I believe everything else has failed. Now it's time to go after Merchan with all of the directed energy weapons that we have politically directed politically. Right. They blinded us with science.
Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of blinding, it's you're out on the ice there in Antarctica, which is a massive continent underneath it. But yes, covered in ice, and there's a 24 hours of sunlight down on the South Pole there. So that's what they got to witness firsthand, putting on sunblock at midnight. But yeah, give them credit. They spent $35,000 for a crew to go on to Antarctic expedition to put the theories to test. YouTuber Jaron Campanella. And he acknowledged, that, evidence that contradicts the core flat Earth beliefs after witnessing the 24-hour sun phenomenon firsthand. So there you go. He created the final experiment to end the debate once and for all. Definitively settle about the Earth's shape, midnight sun, Antarctica. Here it is.
Now turn it over to the flat earthers. Who would like to go first? So obviously you all know Jaron Campanella of Jaronism, one of the most popular flat earth YouTube channels.
Not for long. All right, guys. Sometimes you are wrong in life. And I thought that there was no 24-hour sun. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. But I respect Will Duffy for being a stand-up guy, at least in the way that he kept saying it was true. I kept saying it wasn't. He said, "You want to go? I'll take you." And he brought me here, and it's a fact. The sun does circle you in the south. So what does that mean? You guys are gonna have to figure that out yourself. Don't listen to my beliefs or my opinion. It shouldn't matter to you. But at least you should be able to accept that the sun does exactly what these guys said as far as circles the southern continent. So,
all right. So, big kudos. It's takes, I guess, a lot of courage these days to admit that long-held belief, you were wrong. Now, it'd be nice if we could see this happen with the leftists.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's like they don't even have to take the blame. Blame the media. Blame the media for lying to you. But instead, they're going to sit here and find some ways. Oh, they're bitter and they're angry. They're just lashing out. Now Elon is this and is a puppet master and Trump. But or you could just say, yeah, you know what? You were wrong.
Yeah, I like it.
We're on the wrong side of history, and it's time to accept that. Man up. Join the rest of us. We can all make the world a much better place. We're not fighting over petty issues like this.
Agreed. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be committed to seeking accuracy, not committed to pushing an agenda or pushing a doctrine. Just wherever the truth takes you. That's what you're supposed to be focused on. And I know we have our leanings, we have our ideals here at the New American Media, but we're just trying to find out what's actually happening. Nobody's paying us to lie to you. Nobody ever has. Nobody ever will. It's just a relentless search for truth in a world where they're trying to obfuscate almost everything that they can. So kudos to them. Flat Earth debate settled. This debate might not be settled. Rick Norman says they have to re-sign Darnold. Of course, that's talking about the Minnesota Vikings and their quarterback situation. Blake, we can tease an answer on that real quick. Do you want to re-sign Sam Darnold? And then we're going to hit pivot and launch our Strictly Football show in about 15, 14, 13 minutes here. So thoughts on re-signing Sam Darnold long-term to a nice fat deal in Minnesota, eh?
I don't know if they're going to do a long-term deal. I can see them putting the franchise tag on him and keeping him around for another year to see what they have with J.J. McCarthy. But I don't know if they want to do a giant deal. Let's see. But if he wins the Super Bowl, then I think maybe you can. And what am I going to say? It's like if you win the Super Bowl, then you almost deserve it. And sorry, JJ, just weird timing. But yeah,
that's happened before. That's definitely happened before. Where heir apparents were not. They never really got clear aircraft, if you will. But yeah, you wonder if he could get a $200+ million deal, 5-6 year deal somewhere in north of $200 million, or if he'd end up taking the equivalent to like a Baker Mayfield prove it deal. Here's 3 years, $99 million, 33 a year. And it's like, you're locked in for 3 years. You're not in cap hell like Deshaun Watson's deal. But anyway, we'll talk about that on the Strictly Football show coming up with maybe Blake Walley, definitely myself, and definitely Mike Barra in about 10 minutes here. So the final thing is Blake Walley's on X. Make sure you follow him at TV's Blake Walley. Check out his archive at thenextlevelnews.com, and you can donate to Blake on Venmo at Blake-Walley or Cash App, $Blake W. 99 if you appreciate independent journalism. Blake, any final thoughts? And we will let you go for now. And I'm going to relaunch the next show and get ready here in about 10 minutes. Final words of wisdom as we approach Christmas week. I don't know what we're going to do next week for schedules and stuff. We'll talk about
not doing Tuesdays. So yeah, I was going to say that's kind of what I have. That's the thoughts that I have. We're not doing Toxically Masculine Tuesday for the next 2 weeks either, because Christmas and then New Year's Eve, it just happens to fall on Tuesday, so wouldn't be any reason to do it. Well, not going to do an agree to disagree Tuesday.
Maybe I would
think. Well, Brian, if you want to set it all up and just you have all the stories, everything ready, and you say, Blake, just show up for 30 minutes and just make a thumbnail, then maybe I'll
we've done. By the way, the production side of things, I think we've done better with me getting Blake more stories early in the morning, tagging him on X. Blake's done a good job getting the thumbnail and the topics sorted out earlier so that we can get the show set up a little bit early. Like, I think some things have been drastically improved, at least on my side, drastically improved by just those couple of things. So hopefully it's a little smoother. But
Brian has a 2-hour head start, so I'm trying to talk him into getting more of the prep done.
Well, no, I used to, but I would put it on Instagram stories and you didn't see those. And it's like, I would be there for 2 hours finding all the great stuff. And it's like, well, where are the stories? I'm like, All right, let me just tag you on
set
that.
them all up, right? Then I could just show up for the showtime. You could tell me where the topics are, and I could just join in. That's usually how we do it in reverse, right? Kind of. But you know a lot of the stories. We pretty much have the same.
Yeah, but what I like about this is I put a bunch of stuff together, and then you surprised me with an Antarctic story that wasn't even on my radar. Pardon the pun. But anyway, okay.
I don't know how you miss these. These are like very popular stories on Twitter. There's so many stories that I see that are covered by prominent people.
And that's why I
like adjust your list, because your algorithm on Twitter, you're at the mercy of it. I keep telling you, I've probably told you this 50 times. So,
but that's why I like
make a list.
Right.
And then
that's check it twice, find out if we're naughty or nice. That's why I like putting stories out and then seeing the finalists where you add a couple of wild cards, and it's like, cool. Like I like that dichotomy of kind of working to make something together that would have been different if it was just me doing it. So anyway, I digress. We will wrap up for now. Blake, you're more than welcome to join us in about 5-10 minutes. I'm going to get this queued up right now. Thank you.
So wait, I just do like a cameo. Yeah, I don't know if I can do another 2 hours. I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, you could just talk
hour and a half, and then I start to really go down.
Whatever. Anyway, we can start with your Vikings in a cameo, and you can bounce, and you can have your peanut butter and jelly sandwich and watch your games. Daddy's watching his stories.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to do. All right. Well, we'll see. All right. Let me know or give me a heads up. And anyway, I got to run. But it's delightful, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We'll see you maybe next Thursday. Definitely not Tuesday. And we'll take
maybe in 8 minutes. All right, Blake. Thank you, sir.
Football. All right, guys. Take care. All right. Thanks, man. All right.
There he goes, everybody. TV's Blake Walley. If you like the New American Media, make sure you're following our Rumble account, The New American Media. Go there, subscribe to it, watch some stuff, let it play. Let the advertisements play. It's like tossing a couple pennies in the wishing well. Find the Agree to Disagree show. It's a podcast on Spotify, and link up so that you get our podcast. It's delivered to you there. Follow the New American Media on X at American_media_. Also, go on YouTube, youtube.com/@the-new-American-media. You got 1,600 videos over there. Go on Facebook and search TNAMS, the Agree to Disagree show. If you would like to contribute to the New American Media, we are 100% crowd-funded. You can do so, patreon.com/the New American Media, and sign up to be a monthly contributor. We appreciate everyone that does that. Venmo at Brian Engelman. That's BrianEngelman. Yeah, try spelling that. Most people, I spell it to, they will turn around and spell it incorrectly. I always have to double check. BrianEngelman. So on Venmo at Brian Engelman, and PayPal at Fuzz Installment, FUZZ Installment, INSTALLMENT. So if you like what we're doing, you can contribute there. And of course, for the holidays, if you want to donate to our man Grizzly, he's on Cash App, $Fabled Remedies, the number 1, FABLED REMEDIES, the number 1. And he uses these funds to get supplies and make trips into areas greatly impacted by Hurricane Helene. Make sure you go check out our documentary called Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way. It's on our Rumble account and our YouTube feed. So special thanks to Rick, Norman, Kenneth, and everybody else, Brittany, and I'm scrolling here, Pied Piper, and Robin, and Grizzly, and everyone else in the chat room. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I'm going to hit reset and be right back with Strictly Football. See you soon. Deuces. Bye-bye. See ya.